Do you have a Jehovah's Witness cousin or relative? Have you ever been confused or weirded out by something they said or did? If so, let me be your handy-dandy guide to 5 common Jehovah's Witness behaviors that might require a little explanation. And later, I call my own never Jehovah's Witness family to ask them what I was like when I was that Jehovah's Witness cousin. Number 1, no bless you. There's certain pleasantries that are like blinking for people, like nobody thinks twice about it. Like specifically saying bless you after someone sneezes, or giving a toast and saying cheers at a dinner or celebration. Jehovah's Witnesses' reasoning behind avoiding these common phrases is that these customs are rooted in pagan origins. For instance, the whole phrase bless you after someone sneezes started during the bubonic plague. By saying God bless you, you were just wishing the person good health and hope that they successfully fight off whatever illness is causing them to sneeze. Either way, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that it's unchristian to just toss that phrase out there. Whatever. Yeah, they don't have to. No one has to say bless you after you sneeze. You're not entitled to a bless you. Most people say it as a nice gesture. It's just a polite reflex. Same thing with saying cheers and raising your glass, in a toast. Some old-ass people in Greece a long time ago did it to protect themselves from being poisoned. It's far more likely that your Jehovah's Witness cousin or relative will slip with this one and join out of peer pressure. Because, who wants to be the a-hole that doesn't lift their glass and cheers with everybody at what is clearly a happy, loving family gathering or dinner? No one's thinking of these antiquated pagan rituals when they say bless you to be nice or make a toast. It's 2025. If women can finally be allowed to wear pants, which was at one time strictly reserved for penis owners, you can toast some damn Chardonnay. Get over yourself. Number 2, no church. Your Jehovah's Witness cousin is not allowed to go to your wedding if you get married in a church or do anything in a church. Baptism, communion, because they view this as a form of interfaith, which is strictly prohibited. But the problem with this is I get if you are asking your witness relative to chant, engage in some kind of ritual, whatever, something that really makes them uncomfortable and really goes against their core values. I get that, but this is strongly likely 99% of the time not the case. They're just going to be observing. It's not rocket science or some serious breach of their Jehovah's Witness contract, but they can't go. They can't be unfaithful to Jehovah and to their beliefs. But again, it's not like you're asking your witness relative to convert or actively engage in certain rituals or practices that you know they're against. They're just your family. You want them at your wedding. One of my Jehovah's Witness relatives, who was in New York at the time, stood outside the church while my non-Jehovah's Witness cousin got married inside the church, but then went to the reception. And you're gonna make a scene of saying it was insulting to my non-Jehovah's Witness family who wanted them to be included, just wanted us to be one family together experiencing this, having this big celebration. And you'd be like, oh, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I can't step foot in the church, but you're gonna go to the reception? I guess Jehovah likes an open bar. Instead of encouraging mutual respect and tolerance, Jehovah's Witnesses all over the world are pressured to isolate themselves from their non-believing relatives when they could be nurturing these relationships or family bonds in a way that's respectful of everyone involved. Look, even if your worldly family is a good sport about it, they don't take offense. This separation creates silent cracks in the family that eventually become craters. So anyways, if you have a bar mitzvah, birthday party, or wedding anytime soon, and you have Jehovah's Witness family that you want to invite, I don't know, do whatever you want. You might want to save the postage. Number 3, don't pray for me. Okay, let's say your Jehovah's Witness cousin is in town. You guys are hanging out, it's time for dinner, and you're the type of family that likes to sit around the table and pray over your food. Don't be surprised if Cousin Joe isn't bowing his head with everyone else. Jehovah's Witnesses will literally say, I'm sorry, but we don't pray to the same God. And you know what? They're right. The God they pray to is divisive and cruel. The God they're praying to demands blind loyalty to the Watchtower organization. The God they're praying to divides families and destroys people's lives. Your Jehovah's Witness cousin, I'm sorry to say, has sadly been brainwashed to believe that demons are presiding over that prayer. Cousin Joe actually believes that you're praying to Satan. I mean, at the very least, Cousin Joe believes that you're the one who's misled and your prayer is falling on deaf ears. Or like I've heard people say too, that they went out to lunch with their Jehovah's Witness relative, like a one-on-one situation, and their Jehovah's Witness cousin, aunt, uncle, whatever, made this big gesture of praying over their food for what felt like an eternity And not because there's anything wrong with them wanting to pray or express gratitude. You came from that Jehovah's Witness culture, you know. A lot of them do it because it's a way of showing how righteous and superior they are to you. They're one of Jehovah's people, and they're going to show you how it's done. In some cases, your relative might just feel like they have to. Jehovah's Witnesses are constantly pressured to wave their JW card around. Like, I remember I used to do this. But it felt like an obligation. Like, oh, this is what I got to do. It's the right thing to do. I have to pray over my food so they know that I'm serious, so they know that I'm a good Jehovah's Witness, and it's the truth. And if I don't do it, then it must mean I don't think it's the truth. And if it's not the truth, what does that mean? And how is that going to look? And like, really, you just start to spiral. Following all the rules and looking like a good Jehovah's Witness. If you notice that, like, your Jehovah's Witness relative isn't really engaging in group prayer, they might feel conflicted or like they're trying to protect themselves from your worldly influence. Number 4, the demon lamp theory. So there's this long-standing joke among former Jehovah's Witnesses. Back in the day, when they were a witness, they were warned against not buying anything secondhand or nothing from a garage sale because you didn't know where it came from. So many stories would filter in about a sister who, bought a lamp at a Goodwill, and now she has evil gremlins living in her pantry. She had headaches and hallucinations. She heard voices. So as part of this demon lamp theory, Jehovah's Witnesses avoid anything that even remotely smacks of the occult. So no, Cousin Jane will not be coming over for your Harry Potter marathon. No TikTok zodiac readings. Absolutely nothing mystical or spiritual overtones, over or under, because that's the gateway to the demons. I remember in 3rd grade, the movie The Craft came out. I was obsessed. All my friends at school were allowed to see it, and it's not like we had Amazon Prime back then. So I would stroll through a magical land called Blockbuster. If you know, you know. And I would see it like propped up. And I was just like, oh, I want to see it so bad. Like the jacket was yellowing. I remember one night I went to go visit. This was at some point I was on a trip and I was visiting my worldly family, my non-Jehovah's Witness family. And they were like, oh, we have The Craft. Have you ever seen it? Oh, it's so good. You want to watch it? And I had to say no. I don't remember what I said, but I had to say no because I didn't want to look like a bad Jehovah's Witness. And then I left the organization in my 30s and watched it like 5 million times. And shockingly, it did not turn me into a witch. I mean, I wish it did. If anything, it just made me collect an inordinate amount of candles. And what's sad about this, or crazy, is it really generates a lot of mental conflict or that cognitive dissonance, because you're looking at your family and you're like, they look normal, their heads aren't spinning, their house isn't haunted. Why is it that my worldly family can watch it and everything, they're perfectly fine? Nothing's happening to them. They're not performing child sacrifice. Interestingly, they're not being afflicted with curses and diseases. And yet when I go back to my house, a Jehovah's Witness house that's completely scrubbed of any satanic influence, my soul collapses like a dying star. Like, why do I somehow feel worse here? Probably because you're trapped in a cult, baby girl. So anyway, if you're having girls' night, game night, whatever, and you're like, oh, this would be fun. Oh, who wants to bring out the Ouija board? Just know your Jehovah's Witness cousin is going to have a little mini heart attack if you pull out the tarot cards. Number 5, just got some weird vibes. So maybe none of these things apply. Maybe you just get weird vibes. And this doesn't automatically mean it's a negative thing. It's just something that you can't quite put your finger on. And you'll probably see this with like younger Jehovah's Witnesses, teenagers, or young adults. They're either really blank, like there's nothing going on behind the eyes, or they're painfully shy and insecure. And yes, I am fully aware that this could just be describing any teenager in the universe. Regardless of religion or creed, a lot of teenagers are just super awkward and morose. But the thing is, what I want you to try to imagine, if you have a Jehovah's Witness cousin or relative who fits this description, who's younger maybe, these kids are not just dealing with public school, puberty, family stuff, but like add on top of the pile that they're dealing with this extreme religious ideology that's being crammed down their throat, that's telling them they're not okay as they are. They have to fit this very specific corporate Jehovah's Witness mold. You have to be friends with other kids in the congregation, even if you guys don't even get along, you don't like them. And then you're taught that the outside world is scary and hates you, and that if you ever leave, you're going to be dead in a week. Like, your hormones are already this crazy chemical soup to begin with, and then you have this like really bizarre religious ideology constantly being shoved down your throat. And then sometimes you get the opposite, where the kid snaps because they think they're safe. They feel safe with you. Like, they may feel because they're around you, around their worldly family, they can finally let loose. They can let their hair down. They don't feel like they're being watched. They're not under surveillance. The bottom line here is just listen to your intuition. If something seems off or feels off, it's because something probably is. They might come out and just tell you, express it openly, that they don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. Or they might be very tight-lipped about it out of fear or shame. Just keep it real. be loving and genuine. That's going to leave an impression more than anything else. Just be a safe haven for them. You never know, they might come around and be like, hey, thank you so much. I was stuck in a really weird thing and you were there for me. You had no idea. And I say this because that's exactly what happened to me. So I called my cousin in Long Island, who I adore, who has never been a Jehovah's Witness, and I wanted to get her impressions of what it was like having a Jehovah's Witness family member. And here's what she had to say. Hey, Dee Dee.
Hey Beth, how are you, hon?
I'm good. So, I'm doing this video on my YouTube channel about people who have Jehovah's Witness family, but they're not Jehovah's Witnesses,
Gotcha.
and they might be concerned about a certain behavior, or Jehovah's Witness cousin said or did something that was a little off. Just basically just to help people understand their Jehovah's Witness family a little bit better. I wanted to ask you your opinion, your thoughts, or your impressions of what it was like. Because I was literally your Jehovah's Witness cousin.
You were. It's funny because when the first times we met you, I'm much older than you, so you were little, and I didn't see anything wrong with it because I was like, oh, okay, that's their religion, it's not mine, but hey, it wasn't until I saw you again. Me and Ralph traveled to your house in Texas, and we were asked to go to, I don't know, what do you guys call them? Is it a sermon? Is it?
Oh, is when you heard the talk at the Kingdom Hall?
Yes. It was a little weird. It felt a little Stepfordy. I was like,
Oh, oh
everybody,
yeah, 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 like step for wives. Yeah.
yes, everybody looked the same. I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody was really nice, but I'm sure that was like the curtain. We didn't see the wizard behind the curtain, but
Right.
everybody seemed nice. It was cool, but it was just very off. I don't look at religion as a separator. And I've never thought of it like, oh, my cousins are Jehovah, so it's different. When I met you, when we hung out again, 2012, I want to say, and you were older, it was eye-opening for me because for me, there was some signs. My husband said it. He's like, babe, something's going on. This kid wants to move to another country. What the hell is going on that,
Oh yeah.
it's so bad that she wants to leave
That's when I wanted to move to Holland.
Holland.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
because you are the other half of our family. I am Spanish and have my other descents. The Spanish family, there's never been any separation of religion or color or, sexuality. So when you came and you didn't say it, but from growing up where we did, we got the gist that something was not right. It concerned me, like a scare cat, a little skittish. You didn't want to talk about certain things. You like your answers were very rehearsed. And for me, that was never you. I always felt like we always had this connection and you always talked freely. And that kind of worried me. And it wasn't until years later that I found out everything that was going on. The impression at first was okay, live and let live. Everybody has their own stuff. And then for me, growing up across the street from a Kingdom Hall, it was really like every Sunday they were out or every Saturday they were out. It just felt like it was pushed upon them, not like they wanted to be there. And I feel like with my religion, hey, God is there if you want to sit on a bucket and talk to him. We don't have to go knock on the door. He's there.
Yes.
So I
Right.
just felt like I'm glad where you're at now because to me you seem 100% happier, and I think you finally have come into the amazing, beautiful woman that we always knew you were going to be.
God. You're making me verklempt. You're killing me. I love and adore you. And I was terrified. I was terrified to be just straight up with you. I couldn't. It was kind of like a blink twice if you need help situation.
Yes, but I felt even if I would have said or Ralphie would have said, hey, what's going on? I don't feel like you were ready to
Right,
come out and say this and this is what's going on because we wouldn't have let you leave. You would have been like, no, I'm
right.
calling Tanta and you're staying here with us. Like we wouldn't have let you leave.
I agree. And I just want you to know because I talk about it in the video. that, you don't know the impact, truly, sincerely, you don't know the impact that you could be having as the non-Jehovah's Witness side of the family just by being loving and kind and welcoming and authentic.
Yep.
By you, Bagel, Shug, everybody just being yourselves, and you never judged me. You were my safe place, even though I didn't feel like you said, like I wasn't ready to actually come out and verbalize it. I knew with beyond a shadow of a doubt that if I ever did wake up or if I ever did come back around, I knew where home was.
Right. I'm glad that you felt that way, because 100% it was. 100%. It still is, doesn't matter what you're going through. We will always be here for you. And I hope that people who are watching this and are in need, listen, you don't have somebody, listen to these words. You're wanted, you're cared for, you're loved. People who love you might not say it, but there are people out there who love you, who are praying for you, who want the best for you. And make those hard decisions, because I'm not saying they're easy. They are definitely hard to get away from your family, because the fact that they shun you and never talk to you, that breaks my heart. Because how could a loving God tell you, you know what, don't talk to your child anymore, don't talk to your sister anymore, don't talk to anybody anymore? Like that, for me, if you're a loving God, that doesn't happen.
Right. And that you thank you for saying that. And the thing is, I couldn't tell you these things at the time. So I couldn't tell you, well, Dee Dee, I can't just
And
leave because I
yep,
will be shunned. I will be,
yep,
so it's crazy. But the bottom line is just you guys be not trying to force me awake or not making fun of me.
yep.
Because in the video I talk about little things like, a Jehovah's Witness will you'll never hear a Jehovah's Witness say bless you when someone sneezes. Like little things. Or like if we're all praying, I remember like there were times when there was like a family dinner. If we were all praying together, you guys were praying, not just you, but like in other
Yeah,
situations, I know I was with certain parts of the family, we'd be praying. I was taught you keep your eyes open, you just detach yourself
from
because
that.
we don't pray to the same God.
Right,
So it's really not a list to like make fun of the witnesses. It's just to say,
right.
hey, this is real. They're struggling and dealing with some things that might be quirky to you, to the untrained eye,
Exactly.
but like you have no idea what's
What's
going
going
on,
on?
what they're learning and what they're being told, and their heads are really screwed up. So like you laugh it off if you think it's quirky or whatever for now, but like just be that safe space for them because they might come around later on, wake up, and then remember you for being that normal, well-adjusted, accepting, kind, non-Jehovah's
I'm
Witness.
gonna scratch out normal, because I don't know how normal we are, but definitely kind and loving and 100% accepting of. I don't care if you're, a monkey, a sheep. That's just how we
Right.
are. You treat people with kindness, because that's what we deserve as human beings.
Thank you for being the awesome non-Jehovah's Witness family.
You got that.
And really, truly, thank you for your love and support over the years.
I love you too, Mama. I love you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
As always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this information helpful, especially if you have Jehovah's Witness family and you're not a Jehovah's Witness. And I'll see you guys in the next video.